Hare Krishna. My humble obeisances to all the devotees who assembled for today evening's program. It's always a great pleasure for me to speak Harikatha in the association of very seasoned and mature and dedicated devotees. And ISKCON Silicon Valley is a wonderful example of such a dedicated community of devotees. Last year I had this experience of being with all of you for a few days, for 5 days. And this year again we are meeting to discuss some Harikatha. It's always a pleasure, and this is the life of a devotee, a sadhaka. Macchitta madgata prana bodhayantaha parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti charamanti cha. Devotees are those individuals who gather together to enlighten each other on the glories of Lord Krishna. Bodhayantaha parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam. It's a regular affair, not once in a while. On a regular basis they come together to discuss about Lord Krishna. Tushyanticha, ramanticha, with great happiness, with great satisfaction, with great enthusiasm, they discuss Krishna Katha. To the degree we are hungry, to that degree we digest the food that we eat. Similarly, to the degree we are eager to hear, to that degree we can digest Krishna Katha. We can assimilate Krishna Katha. Otherwise, it's just a chunk of information. We may be aware of certain facts and figures and some historical narrations, but for us to actually absorb the messages of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, for us to actually assimilate them, absorb them, internalize them, realize them, we need to apply them. And when we are hearing Krishna Katha, we should look forward to apply the principles of Harikatha. We are here not to just gather some information, but to actually experience the transformation that happens by sincerely hearing Krishna's descriptions of Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. Kunti Maharani says, Srinvanti gayanti granantya bhikšnasah smaranti nandanti tavehitam janah tayeva pashyantya chirena tavakam bhavapravaho paramam padambujam. Srinvanti, devotees hear about Krishna. Gayanti, they sing the glories of Krishna. Grananti abhikšnasah, constantly they try to accept these messages into their hearts and try to put them in practice. Smaranti, they also remember the Lord. Nandanti tava ihitam janaha, they also take great pleasure when other devotees are glorifying Krishna. A devotee is one who takes pleasure in discussing Krishna Katha, in personally glorifying the Lord and worshipping the Lord. And a devotee also takes pleasure when others glorify the Lord, others worship the Lord, others are doing Harikatha. Nandanti tava ihitam janaha. Tayeva pashyanti, only such a devotee can see the Lord. Tayeva pashyanti achirena tavakam. Achirena means very soon. Very soon. We have been spending so many lifetimes, birth and death cycle in this material world. But within one lifetime only. You may think, Achirena, very soon? What does it mean? I have been chanting since 10 years or 20 years. Still, I could not see the lotus feet of Krishna. On the scale of eternity, one lifetime is just like this. On the scale of eternity, already we have gone through hundreds and thousands and millions of lifetimes without Hari, without Krishna. Now just one more lifetime is not a big thing, right? When we are actually absorbed in Krishna Katha, that one lifetime will pass like this. I think about 15 years I have been in ashram. Maybe I started chanting Hare Krishna 17 years back, something like that. I can look back. Looks like I just came to bhakti and the 17 years passed like 17 minutes. Although so many things have happened in this 16, 17 years still. And many devotees also must be experiencing that. When we are actually following spiritual culture, time passes very quickly. But when we are not absorbed in Shravanam Kirtanam, when we are not relishing it, it becomes Yugaitam Nimishena. Even a moment is like one yuga. Oh my God, why life is so boring? Why life is so heavy? It's not moving so fast. Long life, what long life? Such a short life. That in Kali Yuga, life is very much shortened. But when we are trying to absorb in this spiritual activities of Sravanam and Kirtanam, we don't even realize the passage of time. Tayeva pashyanti achirena tavakam bhava pravaho paramam padambujam. One will be able to cross over this ocean of material existence, bhava pravaha, the flow of the material modes is overwhelming us. We will be able to overcome it and attain the lotus feet of Krishna by hearing, by chanting. So this is how one needs to mold one's life in such a way that one gets time to hear Krishna Katha. Hearing Krishna Katha in the association of devotees is the greatest fortune that a soul can ever aspire for. Even after getting the darshan of the Supreme Lord, after doing so much of tapasya, several great souls, several great devotees like Dhruva Maharaj, Prahalad Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, even Lord Shiva, many such great exalted devotees there saying, "Oh Lord, I don't want anything else. All I want is an opportunity to hear Krishna Katha in the association of your sincere devotees." Yavat te maya sprishta bhramama iha karma bhi tavat bhavat prasanganam sangasyanno bhave bhave. Yavat te maya sprishta, because of the influence of Maya, bhramama iha karma bhi, may we wander in this material existence because of our karma, because of our fruitive baggage. Tavat bhavat prasanganam, but although we are transmigrating from one body to another body, one life to another life, because of our karma, we want one boon. What is that? Tavat bhavat prasanganam. We want the association of your devotees. Sangasyano bhave bhave. Because in the association of devotees, there is constant glorification of Lord Hari, Lord Krishna. Krishna says to Narada Muni, Naham tishtami vaikunthe sadhunam hridayeshuva yatra gayanti mad bhakta tatra tishtami Narada. Naham tishtami vaikuntha, I don't stay in Vaikuntha. Sadhunam hridayeshuva, I don't stay within the hearts of sadhus. They may be doing dhyana. Dhyana avasthita tadgatena manasam pashyanti yam yogino. They may be doing some yoga, dhyan, meditating on the Paramatma form of the Lord. But the Lord says, I don't stay in their hearts. Where do you stay? If you don't stay in the hearts of yogis, if you don't stay in Vaikuntha, where do you stay? Yatra gayanti mad bhakta tatra tisthami Narada. Wherever my devotees are glorifying my names, chanting my holy names, and chanting my glories, praising my Nama Rupa Guna Lila, that's the place where I stay. Of course, that does not literally mean that the Lord doesn't stay in Vaikuntha. He stays in Vaikuntha also. He stays in the hearts of devotees also. He himself said in the 9th canto of Bhagavatam, Sadhavo hridayam mahyam sadhunam hridayantvaham. I stay within the hearts of devotees, but out of his eagerness and enthusiasm to exalt this activity of Krishna Katha in the association of devotees, he said, I prefer to stay in the association of devotees, company of devotees, more than staying in the hearts of yogis who do some secluded meditation in secluded forests. So that's the eagerness in which the Lord accepts the process of Shravanam. In RSVP, so many people may give their names. I am coming. But there is one name, that is Krishna. So he's always there. Wherever devotees gather together to discuss the glories of Krishna, one message comes from Krishna also. And another message comes from Yamaraj also. Even Yamaraj becomes very eager to sit in places where Krishna Katha is happening. Therefore, devotees don't die. Devotees don't die? Yeah, they die. But they die not to go to hell, not to meet Yamaraj. They die, they leave this body to go to the spiritual world, or to go into another situation where they can continue their practice of bhakti. आयुर्हरति वैपुंसाम् उद्यन्नस्तं च यन्नसौ तस्यार्ते यत्क्षणो नीता उत्तम श्लोकवार्तया. Ayurharati vaipumsam, by the rising and setting of sun, one day in our lifetime is getting reduced. Right? By every rising and setting of sun, we are reducing one day in our life. Materialistic people, they are coming one day closer to death. But with every rising and setting of sun, a devotee doesn't lose one day in life, doesn't come one day closer to death, but comes one day closer to Krishna. For a devotee, death is not leaving home, leaving relatives, leaving property, leaving belongings. But for a devotee, death is going home, going to the real family, entering the association of real well-wishers. That's our real home. Real family is there in the Goloka. Real relatives are there in Goloka. Real friends and family members are there in Goloka. Real family head is there in Krishna waiting for us. Come, let me embrace you. Krishna is waiting for that embrace. So that's how devotees spend their time. That's why Dhruva Maharaj offers this prayer. Bhaktim muhu pravahatam tvayi me prasango bhuyadanantamahatam amalashayanam yenanja solvana muruvyasanam bhavabdhim neshye bhavadgunakatham ritapanamattaham bhaktim muhu pravahatam tvayi me prasango. In the association of devotees, there is constant flow of the nectarian river of Krishna Katha. Tvaime prasango bhuyad anantamahatam amalashayanam. All these great devotees are anantamahatam. They are unlimitedly powerful. And not only anantamahatam, amala ashayanam. They are also having pure hearts. Their aspirations are never contaminated by desire for sense enjoyment, but their aspirations are very pure. Amala ashayanam. Ashaya means aspiration. Amala means no contamination. Contaminationless aspiration. Pure aspiration. A devotee is characterized by purity of intentions, purity of aspirations, purity of goals. Our goals are supposed to be pure. We may not be pure yet, but our goal is pure. There may be still so many anarthas of lust, envy, pride, greed, etc. But the aspiration is to love Krishna. Aspiration is to attain Krishna Prema. So when that aspiration is set, naturally, we will do the needful to come to that aspiration by overcoming all our shortcomings of anarthas and aparadhas. Anarthas are there, aparadhas are there, because we are sadhakas. So as long as we are in sadhana bhakti, as long as we are practitioners, we are not perfect yet. We have shortcomings. We have anarthas. We have kama, krodha, lobha. We all have this. But the desire, the aspiration is to overcome them, not to maintain them, not to nourish them, but to reject them, but to get rid of them. But the process of getting rid of all these anarthas is hearing Harikatha. Pravishtha karna randhrena svanam bhava saroruham dhunoti shamalam krishna salilasya yathasharat. When you hear Krishna Katha, when you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, Pravishtaha Karnarandhrena, Krishna will enter our ear holes. And through ear holes, which are like gates, Krishna will enter into our hearts. They are like homes. This is home and this is door of the home. So Krishna will enter through these ear holes into the heart. And in the heart, in the home, there's a lot of kachra, a lot of contamination, a lot of dirt in the form of lust, envy, pride, greed, etc. What does Krishna do? He will clean all that. He will completely clean. Pravishtaha karnarandhrena svanam bhava sarorham dhunoti shamalam Krishna. He will clean. Dhunoti means to completely cleanse or wash away. He will wash our homes of hearts with his purity, and he will get us rid of all material contamination. That's the power of hearing Harikatha. We may be thinking, my bhakti is not so steady. How many of you think that your chanting or your hearing or your devotional service is not that steady. Anyone here? Anyone feels that not yet steady? Unsteady bhakti is anishtita bhakti. But how many of you know the process of making it steady? Very simple. All of you know. All of us know. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Our anishtita bhakti will become nishtita bhakti. Our unsteady practice of devotional service will become very steady and consistent and regular, absorbed, committed practice of bhakti. By what? Nityam bhagavata sevaya. By doing Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, by regularly hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and also rendering service to Bhagavata devotees, our unsteady bhakti will become steady. How does hearing Bhagavatam make this transition? Convert our unsteady bhakti into steady bhakti? Because the reason for unsteady bhakti is anarthas. Lust, envy, pride, greed. But the process of destroying those anarthas is hearing Bhagavatam. We just discussed it. Parvishtah karnarandhrena svana bhavasaroruham. When you do Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, when you regularly hear Bhagavatam, then Krishna will enter our ear holes and he will clean all the anarthas within our hearts. Then our bhakti will become very steady. The solution is very simple. But we need to be a little more consistent. By regularly hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we will be able to make our practice of bhakti more steady. We'll come closer to perfection. But even Bhagavatam 4th canto says, Vina harer guna piyusha panat, means you mold your life in such a way that without hearing Harikatha on a regular basis, you can't stay calmly, peacefully. You become restless. You are thinking that my bhakti is unsteady. Actually, you should become unsteady without hearing Krishna Katha. Then you'll become steady. Today I didn't hear anything. Today I didn't read anything. Today I didn't chant properly. So you should become restless. Oh my God. Days passing, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the night. My rounds are not complete. I did not read anything. I did not hear anything. We should become restless. We should become anxious and eager and excited to hear the glories of Lord Hari. Vina harer guna piyusha panat. The 4th canto Bhagavatam says that you should mold your life in such a way that you become very impatient and restless and dissatisfied and discontent without hearing Harikatha, without hearing the descriptions of Lord Hari's qualities even for one day. Even one day I should not miss hearing Krishna Katha, discussing Bhagavatam. That's how we need to mold our lives. So these are a set of instructions, practical instructions given to us by Bhagavatam. In the last 15-20 minutes we have been discussing so many such important guidelines given by Bhagavatam. But let's come to more practical discussions. I was asked to speak on how to balance our professional life or academic life or practical life with our spiritual life. Let me not keep any suspense. Let me just directly come to the point. Okay. For a devotee, there is no difference between material life and spiritual life. For a devotee, there is only one life, spiritual life. There is no material life. Okay. Even if a devotee is sleeping in the night, that is devotional service. Devotee is eating, that is devotional service. Devotee is bathing, devotional service. Devotee is working, earning money, getting livelihood, that's devotional service. Our activities for self-preservation will not keep us out of the realm of pure bhakti. That's what Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Anyabhilashita sunyam gnana karmadyanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhakti ruttama. Anya abhilashita sunyam. Anya abhilashita sunyam means you should not have any material desires. Not that you should not have any desires at all. You can have desires, but they should not be unfavorable to bhakti. That's why the word comes anukulyena. Anukulyena Krishna anushīlanam. For us to peacefully chant Hare Krishna, peacefully practice bhakti, you need some home, right? For you to go to temple, you need a car. For you to talk to other devotees, you need a phone. For you to travel to holy dhams of Vrindavan, Mayapur, you need some money to book flight tickets, right? So to do all these angas of bhakti, for worshipping the deities, you need some budget. You need to make garlands, you need to purchase flowers. So you need some budget to worship the Lord also. So to do any limb of devotional service, Panchanga Bhakti, take the 5 prominent limbs. To follow all these limbs, you need some peace of mind and some facility where you can practice all these limbs in a peaceful way. For that you need some money. You need to manage your livelihood. We are not like old sages who just give up everything and enter the forest, live in a cave or make some small hut with some straw and some bamboo sticks available in the forest and sit there and do their nirjan bhajan, their own chanting in secluded forests, right? They are totally detached. What will they eat? Most of the times they don't eat only. If at all they are hungry, they will go and then pluck some fruits and roots and then they will eat that. So we are not living like that, right? It's not practical for an average Kali Yuga being to live like that. So for us, let us be practical. We need to earn livelihood. We need to work outside. We need to earn money and then practice devotional service. There are very few people, maybe not 1% of people may choose to live in the renounced order, but most people are supposed to be in a family setup and then practice devotional service. Srimad Bhagavatam is filled with devotees who are part of families and rendering devotional service. Ambarish Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Uttanpad Maharaj, Priyavrat Maharaj, then who else? Bharat Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj, all the Pandavas, they're all Grahastha devotees. And there's one Brahmachari, Naradmuni, who comes in every canto. How many Naradmuni category people are there in Bhagavatam? Most people are Ambarish Maharaj category, Yudhishthir Maharaj category, Vaishnavas. And actually speaking, this Brahmachari and Sannyasi lives, renounced order, is not that natural for a soul. A soul by default is a family member, not a renunciant. These are like ashrams created in this material world. In the spiritual world, in Golaka, who is a sannyasi? Tell me. Who is a brahmachari? Tell me. All gopas and gopis and all of them are like family, Krishna's family, right? So this is there just for all practical purposes in this life, where a conditioned soul who appears as a human being shouldn't get overly engrossed in material relationships. Therefore, some brahmachari life is there in the beginning, so that you practice some austerities, practice some sense control, mind control, self-control, live with meager facilities in a forest, in a gurukul, so that brahmachari ashram is there. Once the training is over, they graduate to grahastha ashram. So they lead grahastha ashram with proper responsibility, taking care of the family members and children and raising them in a Krishna conscious way. That's a service. What is grahastha ashram? Giving birth to children is basically giving an opportunity to another conditioned soul to practice devotional service and attain the lotus feet of Krishna. In the previous creation, some souls have not taken the opportunity of human life or bhakti yoga, and they did not perfect Krishna consciousness. Such people entered into Mahavishnu's body again. And when Mahavishnu breathed out, all these people again took birth in various species, right? They entered this material universe when he breathed out. So within this universe, Brahma is given the project of creation. And Brahma appointed some Prajapatis and Manus and sages to get married and increase the population of the universe and give birth to so many species, especially human species. So this whole process of creation or procreation or reproduction or creating different species, especially human species, is meant for the purpose of giving an opportunity to all the conditioned souls, backlog people who failed in the previous creation. They are given another opportunity to take human forms and practice bhakti. So when a soul is invited into a family, that is giving that soul another opportunity to practice bhakti yoga, perfect his life, which he missed in the past life. Okay, now you can go back to Godhead, right? You can try now. So giving Krishna conscious culture to the younger generation, to the children, and raising them in a Krishna conscious way, and enabling them to go back to Godhead, that's a service. That's a service. And that's the kind of family life which is there in the material world. But apart from doing that service, we also need to spend some time exclusively for our bhakti, right? There is Vanaprastha, sannyas ashrams are there, right? And sannyas is specifically meant to inspire everyone and train them, right? So in this way, different ashrams are set up in this material world. Different varnas are there. But these varnas and ashrams are not there in the spiritual world. They are not there. You can't see people of different ashrams. Everybody in the spiritual world, Goloka is a family man. You don't see brahmacharis there in Vaikuntha. You don't see sannyasis in Vaikuntha. You don't see vanaprasthas in Vaikuntha. Everybody is a family member of Lord Vishnu. In Goloka, everybody is a family member of Lord Krishna. So what do they do? Vaimanika salalanas-charitani shashvad gayanti yatra shamalaha kshapanani bhartuhu antarjalenu vikasan madhumadhavinam gandhena khandita dhiyopyanilam kshipantah vaimanika salalana. In the spiritual world in Vaikuntha, there are vimanas. There are so many beautiful airplanes. Salalana. In these airplanes, all the Vishnu Parshadas, Vishnu Dutas, they are along with their consorts. Salalana, they are their consorts. And what do they do while traveling in their private airplanes along with their wives? Gayanti. They are constantly singing the lyrics of the Lord without any distractions, without any desire for sense gratification. Yat sankulam haripadanati matra drishtair vaiduryamaraka hema mayir vimanaihi. येषां बृहत्कटितटास्मितशोभिमुख्य कृष्णात्मनं नरज आदधुरुत्स्मयाद्यैः यत्सङ्कुलं हरिपदानतिमात्रदृष्टैर्. All these great devotees, their whole focus is only there on the lotus feet of Lord Hari. Haripadanatimatradrishtair. Vaidurya marakata hema mayir vimanaihi. Although they are traveling in golden airplanes which are nicely bedecked with precious gems like lapis lazuli and Vaidurya, marakata gems, blue stones, green stones, yellow stones. And they have very close association of the opposite gender. There is intimate association with the opposite gender, but there is no desire for sense gratification. Why? Krishnatmanam, their hearts are fully dedicated to Krishna. Na raja adadhurutsmaya, their passionate desires for sense enjoyment will not enter their minds. Krishnatmanam na raja adadhurutsmaya, there. In the Vaikuntha there is family life. But in that family, the wife and the husband, the male devotee of the Lord and the female devotee of the Lord, together they render a particular service to the Lord in different flavors. That combination works great. So they render service to the Lord, not for individual sense enjoyment, but dedication to the Lord. In this way, for a soul, being a family member is very natural constitutional position. But that family life is meant for service to Krishna, not for anything else. But in the material world, the family life, if it is not led with Krishna in the center, that becomes a source of entanglement. That's a source of distraction. But if it is led with Krishna in the center, that is like an amazing service rendered to the Lord with proper cooperation amongst different members of a family. Now in a brahmacharya ashram, everybody is a brahmachari. In sannyasa ashram, all are sannyasis. So they try to render service in a certain way. But in a family, there is wife, there is husband, there are children, there is son, daughter, brother, sister, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, different people of different categories, different age groups, different types of experiences. When all of them come together and render service to Krishna, that package is different. which one brahmachari cannot offer, which one sannyasi cannot offer, right? So that is an opportunity. It is grihastha ashram. Ashram means a place where spiritual culture is upholded, where Shravanam and Kirtanam are given the prominent seat. That is called ashram. Brahmachari is ashram. Grihastha home is also ashram. Prabhu Mukharan Prabhu was introducing. He said this is Nitai, Gaur Nitai Dham, right? What is the name? I forgot the name of the deities. Huh? Nitai Navadvip Chandra Dham. Something like that. I don't know if you remember, you can tell me. So this is Dham, the place where the deities are worshipped, place where bhoga is offered to the deities, place where devotees come together to hear Harikatha and chant the holy names of Krishna. This is also ashram. So when Krishna is kept in the center of family life, that is the natural condition of a living entity to serve the Lord. And whatever service a family member is supposed to do to the other family members is Vaishnava Seva. It's not entanglement anymore. Because the other members are also Vaishnavas. They are also servants of the Lord. They are also devotees of the Lord. Whatever service you do, whatever physical support you give them, whatever emotional support you give them, whatever financial support you give them, whenever they are crying, whenever they have some pain, you give them your shoulder. Okay, share your pain with me. Whatever emotional support you offer them, it's all devotional service. It's all Vaishnava Seva. Vaishnavas come together to render service to the Lord. So that is the setup there. Now let me go to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, you can't see sannyasis moving around. Brahmacharis are not there. In Vrindavan, the king is Nanda Maharaj, and the queen is Yashoda Mata, and the prince is Krishna. Another prince is Balaram. And they have so many devotees, gopas and the gopis and cows and calves. It's a very flourishing cowherd community. Krishna appeared in Vrindavan. And Nanda Maharaj very beautifully celebrated a great festival called Nandotsav. This Nandotsav is a celebration which is led by fathers, Father Nanda Maharaj. And Yashoda Mata becomes an assistant to Nanda Maharaj in celebrating Krishna's birth ceremony. And Nanda Maharaj is giving profuse quantities of grains and nicely decorated cows in charity to Brahmanas and guests. And devotees are having holi, throwing milk at each other, yogurt at each other, butter at each other. You can never have a holi like that. We don't have so much wealth. we only throw colors at each other. But they throw butter and ghee at each other. Anyways, they are enjoying like that. So Nanda Maharaj celebrated Nandotsav in a great, happy, joyous mood. At a little advanced age, he got this little child, Krishna. 3 months later, Krishna, baby Krishna, he turned on his back on his own. Right? Generally, very young kids, they cannot turn on their backs on their own. If you make them lie on their belly, they will lie like that, for like that. They will just flap their hands and legs. If you make them sleep like this, they will just flap their hands and legs like that. So once Krishna turned on his own, so that stage of child's growth is considered Uthana ceremony. And this is a ceremony led by mothers, not fathers. Okay. Now here Yashoda Mata called all the gopis, neighboring gopis. And she is giving saris to them, kumkum to them. He is giving ornaments to them. She is giving charity to all the brahmanas. Here Nanda Maharaj became her assistant. Here father has certain contribution in the child's growth, and he celebrates certain stages of child's growth in a certain way. And mother has her contribution in the child's growth, and she celebrates certain stages of the child's growth in a certain way. So thus the combined affection and contribution of father and mother to the child's upbringing will make the child more happy and nourished, and he grows in a more wholesome way, physically and intellectually and emotionally. So he gets both flavors. And there are other members of this family also. Rohini Mata gives her own affection. We have Nanda Maharaj's 8 brothers, so they will offer their affection. And we have many other gopas and gopis and cows and calves. It's like spiritual world. So there is assistance. Father and mother, they assist each other in serving Krishna. Sometimes father takes lead, sometimes mother takes lead, sometimes father becomes assistant, sometimes mother becomes assistant. Then that's how the families run. Now, if you see what sustains our spiritual inspiration while working in professional life is, as I said some time back, there is no difference between spiritual life and material life for a devotee. Both are same. Whatever you are doing for your self-preservation is also part of devotional service, provided the commitment is towards bhakti. Okay, let me just speak three things. First thing is self-preservation. In this self-preservation term, the word self refers to the body. Okay, so there are two kinds of self. One is self. One self is body. One self is soul. So when you say self-preservation, we need to endeavor to earn our livelihood. We need to get some money, earn something to survive in this world. For that, we need to work under somebody, right? So that is self-preservation. But there is another thing called self-realization. What is the real self? One self is the body. Yes, like along with the body, we have so many identities like man, woman, Indian, American. I'm a professor, I'm a doctor, I'm a student, I'm an actor, I'm this, I'm that. So many designations we have. I'm an IT professional, I'm a data science expert, or I'm the new narratives are I'm YouTube influencer, I'm life coach, so Instagrammer, right? There are multiple new professions coming up. What will you become? I'll become a life coach. Life did not even start, but they want to become life coach. That's where they want to pursue their career. I'll read all self-help books. I'll become a life coach. That's what the younger generation is saying now. Influencer. So whatever it may be, we need something to earn. We need something to survive in this world. That is called self-preservation. But what is the real self? Jivera Swarupohai Krishnera Nitya Das. We are all servants of Krishna. Mamayivamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhutas Sanatanha. We are all amshas of Krishna. As amshas of Krishna, our job is to serve Krishna. As servants of Krishna, our eternal dharma is to be engaged in his service constantly, isn't it? So that is called self-realization. Understand your real spiritual identity and acting according to that spiritual identity as servant of Krishna is called self-realization. So as sadhaka bhaktas, we may realize what is our self intellectually. That is called self-awareness. Self-preservation, many people work for self-preservation, but they don't work for self-realization because there is no self-awareness, right? When there is self-awareness, what is the real self? That is soul. A temporary self is the body, but the real self is the soul. That is called self-awareness. With complete self-awareness, you work for self-preservation and you endeavor for self-realization. But most people in this world work only for self-preservation. They don't endeavor for self-realization because they don't have self-awareness. But as devotees, we study Shastra to become more and more aware of the self. Once you have self-awareness, what is my true identity? Then you work for self-preservation to maintain yourself on this material plane, and you endeavor for self-realization to ultimately go to the spiritual world. That's the purpose of human life, and specifically that's the purpose of spiritual life in this material world for all human beings, for sadhakas, right? Three things: self-awareness, self-preservation, and self-realization. So once you have complete self-awareness by studying Shastra nicely, all your self-preservation attempts merge with self-realization attempts. Therefore, there is no material life and spiritual life. Most of the time, self-preservation is on material plane, self-realization is spiritual plane. It is self-awareness that brings them together. The more you are aware of yourself by doing Machitta Madgata Prana Bodhayantaha Parasparam, by hearing Harikatha, by doing Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, your self-preservation and self-realization attempts merge with each other. You are working in office 8 hours in a day, 9 to 5. that also becomes part of bhakti. Because you need money to serve Krishna, to maintain yourself. You are maintaining yourself, your body for what? To serve Krishna. You are purchasing flowers for what? To offer to Krishna. To purchasing food for what? To offer to Krishna and eat Krishna prasadam to get service to serve Krishna, isn't it? Therefore, your earning money becomes a part of bhakti. For a pujari to go out and then pluck flowers and offer to Krishna, that service. Similarly, for a professional to go outside and then work in the outside world and come back and use the money to offer to Krishna, that is also bhakti. So for a devotee, there is no material life, there is only spiritual life. However, when we are actually working for self-preservation, we consciously or unconsciously become unaware of our real selves. Does it happen to you? The self-awareness will just go in the background. Only self-preservation comes in the foreground, self-awareness will go in the background, and self-realization nowhere to be seen. Right? So we need to be constantly aware of the self. That's why Nityam Bhagavata Seva is important. Balance means you have two things, you have to balance them. If there is only one thing, there is no balance. Right? If there is only one thing, where is balance there? Materially and spiritually both are same. So therefore there is no balancing act there for a exalted devotee who works on the platform of self-awareness. Right? But for someone who is not constantly trying to be aware of oneself, one who is not reminding oneself of what is the real self by hearing Bhagavatam on a daily basis, then there is a big struggle. The self-preservation attempts and self-realization attempts seems poles apart. My God, this working professional is one life, and doing satsang programs with devotees and worshipping deities, that's another life. My God, how do I bring them together? How do I bring them together? What brings them together is this Nityam Bhagavata Seva. Regularly hear Harikatha. We need to remember that we are servants of Krishna. Whatever we are doing on the practical front, on the material front, is also part of our bhakti. We need to do that austerity. For Arjuna, chanting Hare Krishna is a much easier proposal than throwing arrows at Karna, Bhishma, Drona. But Krishna said, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. If at all times I have to remember you, mam anusmara, why are you telling me to do yuddha? And if I am doing yuddha, how can I remember you? When he is throwing arrows at Bhishma or Karna or Drona, how can he remember Krishna? If he remembers Krishna, he will get distracted. He will throw arrows at Yudhishthira and Bhima instead of Bhishma and Drona. Right? So Krishna says, Mahamanusmara sarveshu kaleshu yudhyacha. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mahamanusmara yudhyacha. If at all times, sarveshu kaleshu means all times. Sarveshu means all, kaleshu means times. If at all times we have to remember Krishna, where is the possibility of doing yuddha? And if I have to do yuddha, that's like compromising on the previous instruction. Within the same shloka, within one half of the shloka, Krishna gave a big project. Always remember me and also perform your yuddha. The answer is, did you get the question? There's a question, there should be an answer. Sarveshu kaleshu for a sadhaka bhakta is not at all moments. It's not every moment, it's every day. Every day you remember me. You begin your day by chanting Hare Krishna. Begin your day by worshipping Krishna. Do manmana bhav madbhakta madhyaji mam namaskuru. But when you are actually working on a practical plane for your self-preservation, doing whatever is duty which is assigned to you, or you have taken up for self-preservation in this world, according to your varna, according to your ashrama, do it as an offering to Krishna. Arjuna's yuddha, Arjuna's throwing arrows at Karna, Bhishma, Drona, Shakuni, Duryodhan, Dushasan, that is a part of Arjuna's bhakti. While releasing an arrow, whether Arjuna is exactly remembering Krishna in trance or not, we are not sure, because he has to focus on that activity. When you are cooking for Krishna, for example, you are making payasam from Krishna. The other day kids were saying, what is your favorite food item? Someone said Krishna Prasadam. Kunjari said that. Krishna Prasadam is my favorite sweet. I don't know what is the recipe for it. We can share recipe, Kunjari. Krishna Prasadam is her favorite sweet. So when you are making Krishna Prasadam for Krishna, by making some kheer, Amrita Kedli for Krishna, you give the necessary attention that the service requires. We are making kheer, and in the name of Sarveshu Kaleshu Ma Manusmara, you put salt instead of sugar in the kheer. It will become something else. It will not become Krishna Prasadam. It will create commotion for Krishna. Right? He will say, my God, what is this? I told Sanatana Goswami to give salt and he's giving salt. He took it very seriously. I don't want salt in kheer, by the way. I want salt in roti. That too little bit, not so much. Giving the necessary attention that the service requires will not put you out of the realm of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not just to be conscious of Krishna within your mind. It's not just thinking of Krishna. Krishna consciousness is not just thinking of Krishna. Not just dedicating your mind to Krishna. Yes, mind is there. Manmana bhavamad bhakto is there. Mayyaveshya mano yema. Nityayukta upasate. Ananyas chintayanto mam. Yejana paripasate. And also, what is that shloka? Just now we recited, right? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara is there. But yuddha is also there. When you say anusmara, that's the activity of mind. But apart from mind, in this system, we have many things. What are the other things? We have body, we have senses, we have ears, we have eyes, we have nose, we have tongue, we have intelligence, we have ego. If you always focus on engaging your mind in Krishna's service, what about other faculties? Will you not engage intelligence in Krishna's service? Will you not study Shastra? You have to study Shastra. Studying Shastra is also Krishna consciousness. Right? Chanting Hare Krishna is also Krishna consciousness. Cooking for Krishna is also Krishna consciousness. Looking at Krishna's deity, getting lost in the beauty of Krishna, deity darshan, that is also Krishna consciousness. Taking care of crying babies is also Krishna consciousness. You want reference? I can quote. Yado hane vahanane mathanopalepa prinkankhanar bharudito ksanamarjanado gayanti chainamanurakta dhiyoshrukanthyo dhanyavrajastriya urukramachittayanaha. The gopis of Vrindavan are doing so many household activities. Taking care of cows, milking cows, churning butter from buttermilk, from yogurt, and they're also ukshana. They are sprinkling water in their courtyards. Arbharudita, when the babies are crying, they are taking care of the crying babies. Gopis of Vrindavan are doing this. And while doing so, gayanti chaina manurakta dheyo shrukanthyo, they are glorifying Krishna. When a Krishna conscious mother or a Krishna conscious father tries to pacify a baby who is crying, they'll say, oh Krishna, Krishna. They will chant the holy names of Krishna, Radharani, and then make the child pacify. To distract the child, they will offer Krishna Prasadam, garland to the baby. To pacify the child, they will show Krishna's photo to the baby. Okay, you see Radharani's photo, then you be pacified. You see what she's wearing, what he's wearing, what Krishna is wearing. That's how the pacification happens. Even taking care of crying babies is also Krishna conscious activity for the gopis of Vrindavan. Even doing jhadu pocha is Krishna conscious activity. Krishna consciousness is not just to be conscious of Krishna within the mind. Krishna consciousness is to be conscious of Krishna by engaging your senses in Krishna's service, engaging your intelligence in Krishna's service. Most importantly, engaging your ego in Krishna's service. How do you engage your ego in Krishna's service? What is ego? A sense of identity. You identify yourself as servant of Krishna, not master, proprietor, controller, enjoyer, not some boss, not with all the designations in the corporate world, not with all the designations that we have in this material world. We may be some senior manager in a company, but we may do that on the practical front. Like Arjuna is a Kshatriya. Arjuna is a warrior. Arjuna has so many military certificates. That is his identity externally. But the real identity of Arjuna is not Kshatriya. He is the servant of Krishna. Initially Arjuna said, I will not fight. Then Krishna said, you are a Kshatriya, you should fight. Yes, I will fight. Arjuna did not just remember that I am a Kshatriya, therefore we agreed to fight. Arjuna remember that he is a servant of Krishna. My fighting is a service to Krishna. Krishna descended on this planet to do what? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya. To protect the righteous, to punish the vicious, and to establish dharma is the duty, is the mission of Krishna in this world. When Arjuna is contributing to that mission by fighting in Kurukshetra war, that is bhakti, that is devotional service, isn't it? That's devotional service. It's not Kshatriya dharma, it is Bhagavata dharma, it is bhakti. Arjuna's fighting is bhakti. That's why Krishna said, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha. That yuddha is also bhakti. Killing, bhakti. Violence, bhakti. Throwing arrows, bhakti. Using gadas. Bhima is doing, that is also bhakti. So when we have this Krishna conscious outlook, where we understand that every activity that we are doing is a part of my devotional service unto Krishna, there is no difference between material life and spiritual life. Material life and spiritual life both are same for a devotee. Self-preservation and self-realization both are same. Self-preservation is required for self-realization. Without self-preservation, without you don't eat food properly. I am not body, I am soul. So I will not eat. I will not bathe. If you don't bathe, you can't even enter the altar. How will you serve Krishna? How will you dress the deities of Krishna? So taking bath is also there. What is Krishna consciousness in taking bath? You, while taking bath, you remember Krishna. Then that is Krishna consciousness. You start singing some shloka. You recite some shloka, or you sing some song, Jaya Radha Madhava. Then you put something on your head. You chant so many rounds on your beads, 16 rounds. But you can chant 1 or 2 rounds while taking bath also. Don't count them into part of 16. I completed 2 rounds while taking bath, okay? Don't say that. I counted also, by the way. Every mug that is putting on my head is like chanting 3 mantras. I know that. Count. I put 33 mugs on my head. So you can do some extra chanting while taking bath. Chanting while cooking. But not while not chanting to compromise cooking. Cooking will continue. Whatever focus is required to do that activity, just give that much a concentration, that much attention you should give to that activity. That is Krishna consciousness. Yashoda Mata is conscious of Krishna while she is churning buttermilk for Krishna. Kshaumam va sahaprutukatitate bibhrati sutranadham. Her mind is thinking of Krishna. Her mouth, her tongue is singing the glories of Krishna. And she is meticulously offering her service to Krishna. She says, my maid servants, they burn their milk. They don't know how to create butter. That's why my son is going to different homes and stealing butter. Because my maid servants are not providing quality butter to Krishna. This time I will make on this Diwali day. Out of a stubbornness born out of her Vatsalya Prema, Yashodamata thought that only I can make the best quality butter for Krishna, no one else. Mothers can have that pride, by the way. It's not pride. It is. You cannot say she has to be humble. You can't say that to Mother Yashoda. Yes, she is top ranker and she can feel that also. And that's completely spiritual also. So she was thinking. And meanwhile Krishna came. When you're eager to serve Krishna, Krishna becomes eager to receive your service. So Krishna came and sat on her lap. She did not even pick up Krishna. Her lap is Krishna's property. She did not say, Idam asanam Krishnaya namaha, come and sit in my lap, ring bell. She doesn't have to do all that. Krishna just climbs on her lap. He goes and holds the churning rod, and churning has to stop, and Yashoda has to give attention. Your exclusive attention is to me. Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevati. Ananyas chintayanto mam yajanaha paryupasate. Sarumi. So he climbs on her lap and she starts feeding her milk to Krishna. Then what happens? Yashodamata is absorbed in her devotional service of feeding her milk to Krishna. Torrents of milk are coming out from her body like raining clouds. And Krishna, like a chataka bird, is taking that milk. Such an absorption in feeding milk to her baby. But she is conscious of the Padma Gandha milk which is spilling over in the kitchen. If she is really absorbed in this seva, how could he even notice? How much sound does boiling milk make. Milk is boiling and it spills over. So how much sound does it make? And if you are conversing with someone, how many times you must have wasted some milk by not noticing it? I think all the cooks know here. But Yashoda Mata, being so absorbed in her Vatsalya Prema towards Krishna, while feeding motherly milk to Krishna, she's still aware of the Padmagandha milk there. And she kept Krishna aside and ran into the kitchen. Was she distracted? Was she like us? While chanting, we check Facebook updates and WhatsApp messages, right? Was she like that? She's not like that. Sometimes we are conversing with someone, it happens with me. Some message comes, I just see, okay, fine. Both are happening. Multitasking. Was she into multitasking? But did she not have proper absorption or concentration while feeding milk to Krishna? And on top of it, to save that little 1 liter or 2 liters Padmagandha milk, she has to interrupt her service to Krishna? No, that is important. Right? Getting milk, saving that milk for future service of Krishna is important, even at the cost of compromising her service to Krishna now. So, going to job is important. Right? Working in office is important. Of course, our working in office is nowhere comparable to Yashoda Mata saving Padmagandha milk, but just to draw one little parallel. Sometimes we need to do the needful on the practical front also. And that doesn't put us out of the realm of pure bhakti. For Arjuna, killing people, that's important. Apart from worshipping Krishna, he said, I will not fight. I will chant Hare Krishna. I will go and beg like a Brahmana, beggar. Then Krishna said, Arjuna, you are a Kshatriya. You are a fighter. You are supposed to fight. If you artificially take the profession of a beggar, you will fight with other beggars. Better you fight with warriors. Right? You have that propensity to fight. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharma sanishtitaha swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavavaha. Your dharma is to fight. If you adopt someone else's dharma of begging, you will employ your nature of fighting in that other's dharma. You will fight with other beggars. Better fight with warriors. You have propensity to fight. So, but this is like Swadharma. Krishna is highlighting that Swadharma and the natural propensities of people. But Krishna ultimately did not want Arjuna to fight by making him realize that he's a Kshatriya. He wanted him to realize that he's a devotee. You are a devotee. You are supposed to be acting as my instrument. I have already killed all these people. Please understand that first. Okay, after speaking 10 chapters, Krishna thought, my God, I don't know how much is he understanding. Let me tell that I already killed them. How much ever philosophy I speak, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, he may still think the way I have to kill. Because second chapter he asked the question, third chapter he asked the same question, fifth chapter he asked the same question. How many times you will ask the same question? Okay, let me tell you, I have already killed them, by the way. You don't have to kill. What am I supposed to do? Nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. Mayai vaite nihataha purvameva nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. Mayai vaite nihataha purvameva. Before only I have killed all of them. Purvameva. Beforehand I have killed them. When did you kill? The moment Dushasan touched the hair of Draupadi, I have decided that all these people have to die. The moment he dragged her into the assembly, I decided even Bhishma has to die. Even Drona has to die. Even Karna has to die. Everybody has to die. The moment none of them did anything to stop this nonsensical activity, I have decided they have to die. Oh, really? Then what am I supposed to do if you have already killed them? And he also showed the display also. So many mouths emanating fire. And all this Bhishma, Drona, Karna, all these are entering the fire. And they're being ground in the teeth. But Arjuna said, that what am I supposed to do? Nimitta matram bhava. You are Savyasachi. Use your both hands to release arrows. You are Savyasachi. Do that. And manifest a result which I have already decided. Just like Brahma, many people, once Narada Muni asked, you are the creator, right? You are the creator of the universe. Everything in the universe is manifested by you. Then Brahma said, I only recreate what has already been created by the Lord. I am not the creator, he is the creator. I am a secondary creator. He is the one who is giving me seeds. As a farmer, I am sowing the seeds. providing water, providing fertilizers, plucking weeds, all that I am doing, but I can't create a seed. Aham bija pradah pita is Krishna. Right? Even Brahma cannot avoid the service of creation. Arjuna and Pandavas could not avoid the service of fighting. Parikshit Maharaj could not avoid the service of ruling the kingdom and killing Kali or confronting with Kali. Parikshit Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Ambrish Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, Priyavrat Maharaj, Uttanapad Maharaj, Bharat Maharaj, all these people, they don't have small households with one family with 5-6 members to take care. They are not having 9-to-5 job there. They are the responsible administrators and emperors of the entire planet. How much responsibility they have? How much firefighting they have to do? How much troubleshooting they have to do? They're doing all that while being Krishna conscious. Right? So many devotees in the past have set a great example of taking care of their regular trivial responsibilities as a part of their self-preservation and some contribution to other self-preservation, while not compromising on their endeavor for self-realization. So this example is set by so many devotees. If you are feeling overwhelmed, that so much, yes, it is overwhelming, undoubtedly. Sometimes I wonder, my God, how are they managing? They have their jobs, they have their kids, they have the temple worship, and also some devotees take so much of responsibility in leading the congregation, acting as counselors, mentors, guides. It's like really unimaginable and inconceivable service. But in doing so, we get purified and we get blessings of Krishna. We become objects of Krishna's grace and we contribute to others' lives, not just taking care of our own selves, our bodies. We take care of our souls also. We take care of so many other souls also. That's a wonderful example set by many Vaishnavas, and those who are following in the footsteps of these great Vaishnavas are Mahajans. Bharat Maharaj ruled the planet for hundreds of years. And he retired to practice bhakti alone at Palahashram on the bank of Gandaki river, where there are so many Shaligram Silas. You see. But Bharat Maharaj saw one little deer and he became very compassionate on the deer, because it's natural for a king to show compassion on poor people. Parikshit Maharaj, as soon as he saw this cow and bull being beaten up, being troubled by Kali, personality of Kali, he immediately took up his sword to kill that Kali and protect the cow and bull. So a king has a natural propensity to protect and to punish the miscreants. So Bharat Maharaj, because of his experience of being a king for thousands of years, he took care of the deer. But unfortunately, Bharat Maharaj compromised on his bhakti while maintaining the deer. So this is the care that we need to take. While showing some compassion on common people, while doing some bhutadaya, jivadaya, we should not compromise on our own spiritual practices. We will be able to contribute to other spiritual lives or even others' material lives to the degree we are absorbed in our own sadhana, our own spiritual practices. If we compromise on our spiritual practices, all our attempts for self-preservation will become a source of entanglement. But if we compromise on our sadhana, our attempts for self-preservation will become a part of our attempt for self-realization. We eliminate or eradicate or erase any difference between material and spiritual lives to the degree we take our sadhana seriously, to the degree we are absorbed in our spiritual activities. But to the degree we are distracted in our spiritual activities, to that degree we separate these two lives and it becomes exhausting, tiring, boring. But we need to do the needful on the practical front. In fact, the more we are absorbed in spiritual practices, the more we are empowered to do the needful on the practical front effortlessly. Arjuna was a warrior. How many responsibilities he had? But he's an expert warrior. Many devotees of Krishna, they're experts in their material fields also. They did not compromise in their studies if they're students. Now, recently 10th standard exams happened. Many children who are in our online classes, they're in touch with me. They're sending, Prabhu, I got 85.6 score. I got 92.3. I got 93.8. So like that, they're sending their scores. Wonderful scores. So they are regularly coming for online classes. They're learning so many shlokas. They're interacting in the classes. They're answering questions also nicely. They're writing essays. Sometimes we publish that essays in our Bhagavad Pratipika also. And they're doing good in their academics also. Very nicely they are doing. And they are doing their extracurricular activities also. Some of them are, doing this learning classical music. Some of them. So they are doing good in their learning, in their studies, and also doing good in their bhakti as students. And as they grow nicely, if they continue like this, they will definitely work nicely as professionals and also do their practical life nicely, in their spiritual life also nicely. So there's no difference between these two. But if we think that whatever I'm doing on the practical front, Amrish Maharaj did many things on the practical front, but he's also doing Savai Manaha Krishna Padara Vindayor Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanuvarnane. He's engaging all his senses in Krishna's service and ruling the planet. Yudhishthira Maharaj administering justice, ruling the practicing Krishna consciousness. Nishamya Bhishmoktam Athachyutoktam. The way Bhishma taught him all the principles, the way Achyuta, Lord Krishna taught him all the principles. So Bhishma is, Yudhishthira Maharaj is molding his life and his ruling in accordance with the principles taught by Bhishma and Krishna. So we will also try to learn all the principles from Gita and Bhagavatam, and we try to apply them in our practical life, in our dealings with other people, even they get inspired. Recently one student went to the college with so much fear, what will happen there, I'm going out of association. But eventually took Gauranga deities and started worshipping in the university and influenced the roommate also to get attracted to bhakti little bit. So some transformations happening on that front, right? So there is no difference between college life and spiritual life. However, there are some moments or many moments, or practically every day there are some moments where we can get distracted. So what protects us from allurement and distraction in bhakti is association of devotees. When we don't gather together on a daily basis, or at least on a regular basis, once in a while, frequently, not once in a while means not once in 3 months or 4 months or 1 year, but on a regular basis when we come together, share our hearts, do some guhyamakhyati pruchhati, and share our realizations, share our struggles, share our exhaustions, share our ecstasies, share some Krishna Katha, that will rejuvenate us, that will charge our batteries, spiritual batteries, and that charge of spiritual batteries will help us deal with all the struggles that we face in the practical front, in the professional life. So charge our spiritual batteries by hearing and chanting and having very nice, good friendships with other devotees. And then let's try to deal with our professions accordingly. Sometimes there are busy phases. Arjuna had 18 days continuous battle, early morning to late evening, and night is just little time to rejuvenate himself. Sometimes some marathons come. On a typical day, Arjuna had so much sadhana to do, but these 18 days he may just do some little sandhya and then focus on the war throughout. So we need to understand that there are some busy phases in professional life, in our working life. When the child is very young, the parents have to spend more time with the child. When he's little grown up, parents get a lot of time. Okay, they're able to do things on their own. When their baby is very young, then they have to spend more time. So these are inevitable ups and downs. We do the needful. Krishna will give us the ability, He will give us the strength, He will give us that adaptability and malleability and flexibility according to the circumstances. We don't have to blame Krishna. He will give us the strength without any complaints. We have seen many devotees who are flourishing in their professions, in their jobs, in their academics, but while also being absorbed in Harikatha and their sadhana, doing some extra sadhana also, and being very nice with other devotees, and then helping them, doing some Guhyama Khyati Prichati also. So it is possible, it's not impossible. It may be difficult, it is difficult, but at the same time it is possible because many devotees have showed it by their example. And one more thing is, cultivating detachment is very important. We need to be detached from certain things. Successes and failures, victory and defeat happens on the material plane also. When we are failing in certain attempts for progress in professional side, that may sometimes disappoint us, dishearten us. But as long as it is not compromising on our self-preservation, as long as it is not affecting our physical well-being so much, we should not get too overwhelmed by it. When COVID came, some devotees even lost their jobs. It's quite painful for them. It took a while for them to settle down. But there were devotees who have some surplus, who managed their lives, although they were not getting regular income for quite a few months continuously. Some ups and downs will come. So, according to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a devotee who is working in the society, mainstream society, the devotee has to be smart enough to not only earn livelihood just hand to mouth, just whatever is required for maintenance, a devotee should also keep some surplus. For that, you need to do little extra endeavor, probably, if needed, and keep some surplus to meet with health emergencies or other kinds of financial emergencies, or meet with some unexpected expenditures. So, and Vasudeva Datta was spending everything. Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Shivananda Sen, you should ensure that his accounts are taken care properly. A sannyasi, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why he has to get into the accounts department of this devotee, this grihastha devotee? Because that's required. Taking care of money, protecting that money, preserving that money for emergency needs, that's required for a householder devotee. And sometimes when we are getting too overwhelmed with issues in profession or in family or in relationships or in health or other things, we feel, I should have become a sannyasi. What am I doing here? When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was touring South India, one of the initial devotees he met was Kurma Brahman. Kurma Brahman exactly said the same thing. I am unable to handle this Vishaya Taranga. So many waves of material problems are coming, they are overwhelming me. I cannot handle it. Please allow me to come with you. You are going on a tour? How long? Not 1 week, 2 years. 2 years also not fixed. Whatever it may be, I'll come with you. I'll give up this family, this home, this all this stuff. I'll just travel with you. And Mahaprabhu said, never speak like this. You should never speak like this. What are you supposed to do? Yare dekhe tarakaha Krishna upadesh. Whomever you see, you should speak about Krishna to them. You allow them speak. You personally chant the holy names of Krishna. You read Gita and Bhagavatam, and you also inspire others to chant and hear, and that's how you will protect yourself from Vishaya Taranga. Kabuna badhibe toma Vishaya Tarange. Purnarapi eithani pabe mora sangi. So you will definitely be able to attain my association. You will be unaffected by the waves of material existence. provided you chant holy names of Krishna at home, you study Bhagavatam at home, and you inspire others also to do the same. That's the formula that Mahaprabhu gave to so many Grihastha devotees throughout his South India Yatra. You don't have to change your ashram. You don't have to change your social status or position. Prabhupada also says, unless you're a butler or a butcher, you don't have to change your profession. Do the needful. And then focus on your sadhana and try to help others also. You can attain the lotus feet of Krishna. You will definitely be able to reach the lotus feet of Krishna. Mahaprabhu said it. Krishna said it. Many great Mahajans have shown this example. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells all the Kulinagram Vasis and all the Navadvip Vasis that you are supposed to go home, take care of your family, and chant the holy names of Krishna. Do Krishna Katha regularly and do Vaishnava Seva. As long as you are doing that, then you will definitely attain me. So there is no compromise. This is the teaching of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the teaching of so many great Mahajans who successfully led their spiritual lives while doing the needful on the practical front. So there are other practical tips. You can just make a schedule properly. Prioritize. Morning we were discussing with kids in our class, Mindful Me. So 5-step plan. Kunjari has made 5 steps. You want to show to everyone, Kunjari, your 5 steps? She had made her own 5 steps. List all your tasks. Can you say that? You remember? Say it. Stand up and speak. First is list your things, right? List your tasks. Second is prioritize. You identify what is important, what is not so important. Okay. So third is set priorities, which is first and which is next, which things have to be done first. Then fourth is divide bigger tasks into small portions, right? She forgot, no problem. She wrote 2-3 times. Divide bigger things into small portions. Then allocate time for it. Make a schedule and do it. This 5-step plan. Time management, priority management, and attention management. Manage your time. It's not just time management. Manage your priorities also. Which is most priority? Japa, first priority. Sleeping early, getting up early. So these are some small adjustments that we can make to make our schedule less intense, less tiring, less cumbersome, and more effective and more enlivening, right? So we waste a lot of time in unnecessary conversations, and we may feel that I am not getting sufficient time for bhakti, because a lot of time is just being wasted in many other trivial things. So we need to create time. A person who is a multimillionaire has only 24 hours in a day. A beggar on the street also has 24 hours in a day. A pure devotee has 24 hours in a day. A struggling sadhaka has 24 hours in a day. Mahabhagavad devotee has 24 hours in a day. And Aparadhi also has 24 hours in a day. But it all depends on how they are using their time. What's the time now? 8:30. I think we should stop here. We'll stop here. We'll take some questions. I think I already spoke for more than 1 hour, 1.5 hours. So I hope I didn't waste your time. Whatever came to my mind, I just shared. A few examples from Gita Bhagavatam. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
If anyone has any questions. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, so you were mentioning about the intensity part, right? Like we should be feeling, why I'm not doing reading or chanting or kirtans, something like that. It's at least my experience is it's easier to do that when life is great and everything's great. When problems hit us, how do you maintain that intensity?
That's where we need to have devotee association. Alone we cannot handle it sometimes, or many times, or most of the times. But when we are with other devotees, we get that necessary emotional support and a helping hand to deal with the practical problems So you're struggling with something, facing some problem, devotees will come and help you solve that problem. Even if they cannot help you, they will give you that moral support, emotional support, to not get overwhelmed by that problem. Therefore, friendships amongst devotees is very important. Pandavas were always together. Although they have different personalities, different opinions many times, still they're always together. Because they are together, that unity is there amongst these devotees, we will not get overwhelmed by problems. Does it sound practical? Any other question? Yes, bro.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the wonderful class. Prabhu, I had one question. So during the class you said that a lot of devotees, like we observe, are materially very successful, like they are at they are exemplary in their jobs or in their studies or academics. So that requires certain level of passion to do whatever they are doing. And at the same time you said that we should not get over engaged into our jobs or any of these activities. So Prabhu, how do we find a balance, or how to understand this concept?
When somebody is excelling in a field, there's a passion for it, there's a liking for it, there's an absorption in it. At the same time, we have to be detached also. You see, I would say a devotee's expertise in some field is not just a product of the external material nature or swabhava of a devotee, if he's a very exalted devotee. It's their zeal to serve Krishna. It's a part of their service to Krishna. For example, somebody is decorating the deities. You can just put a basic garland, dress, dhoti, kurta, and then little turban. In 2-3 minutes you can finish, and then it's nice darshan. Magic is done. But some people are very artistic. They put so many things on the head. They paint very intricately. They do so many other things on that front because there is zeal to it. There's a passion to it. But all that expertise they have, they're dovetailing in Krishna's service. Now, okay, fine, dressing the deities is fine. That's like core spiritual activity. How do we understand when somebody is like expert in their profession, in certain material skill? Even that skill also can be engaged in Krishna's service. If we have that right outlook, perspective. And devotees who are expert in certain fields, they have engaged those expertise in Krishna's service in unimaginable ways. Somebody is good at construction, they give a lot of inputs in construction to the temple. Somebody is expert in painting, they made very beautiful paintings for Krishna. So there are some skills are dovetailable skills. You are excelling in that skill and you are able to dovetail it in Krishna service also. But there are certain skills which are not dovetailable. Those skills and that expertise devotee has to discard. Although somehow because of their karma or whatever, they have some expertise, they have gained some expertise, better to stay away from it, better to discard it, better not to host such a skill within our system if the opportunity to dovetail it in Krishna service is not there anymore and it's entangling us more. So we should just give it up. So when devotees become experts in certain things like business, they are earning more money, they are using that money in Krishna service. Some are earning fame, they are very famous outside, they are using that fame to promote Krishna consciousness in some way. They kind of endorse a devotee's activities. They facilitate preaching programs. Somebody is in a very, very high position in a company. So they bring somebody and then arrange for a preaching program there in the company. Okay, many devotees have done it. So like that material expertise can be dovetailed in Krishna's service apart from taking care of her self-preservation. But sometimes material expertise cannot be dovetailed. That has to be rejected. Makes sense, bro? Any other question, comment? Yes, bro. some expertise or skills or activities we do are in tamogun. Better stay away from them. Some are in sattvagun. Some are expert singers. They have great zeal with which they have learned music. They're engaging in Krishna's service. They're able to chant. Ultimately, the purpose of all our endeavors is samsiddhir haritoshanam. If samsiddhir haritoshanam is not attained, then we better stay away from such a skill.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for such a insightful lecture. So you said a very important point that the sadhana, how much good our sadhana is, to that extent material becomes spiritual, or let's say seva. And also you gave example of Bharat Maharaj and few others who got deviated. So and also there are different phases in life as well as time, etc. So what becomes confusing is how much is too much and how little is too little. Where is the fine line? How do we decide?
We need guidance. We need guidance of devotees who are also experts in those fields. We discussed principles in the class, but practically speaking, how much is too much in either accumulating money or exploring an opportunity or developing on some skill? How much is too much? It depends on time, place, circumstances, and the candidates involved. The candidate, for some candidates, it may be entanglement. For some candidates, it's an opportunity for improvement and contribution to Krishna consciousness. For that, we need a customized, personalized guidance from someone who knows you thoroughly, at least knows you decently, reasonably, so they can guide us. Whenever we are going just little sidetrack, we will be brought on track. Like when you are keeping a Google map, when you are driving, the Google map is showing certain path, certain to the destination, and whenever you get distracted from the destination, you just go and take a left turn or right turn. What will the Google map do? No, realign, recalculate the optimal path and then bring you back on track. You take this left turn, fine, go 300 meters like this, 200 meters like this, join the main path. So devotees will just bring us back on path. We need guidance. Just like you are flying kite. So kite is nicely decorating the sky, but someone has to pull the string. Then only kite will fly properly. So whenever the kite is going higher, and if the wind is not favorable there, if there are some other kites there, the possibility of colliding with other kites is there, then the person who is flying the kite will just pull the thread down. If there is a big tree, tall tree, and your kite is flying towards the direction, it must stuck in the tree. So the person will just, roll the thread down, pull it down, and then turn it this way. May you fly like this. It's a little clear sky. So we need to give liberty to other devotees to correct us. We should give that liberty to other devotees to correct us. Let them have that confidence in us that we will not get offended when they give a suggestion. We should give them that confidence and reassurance. If we are little brittle, if we are not approachable, if we are too opinionated, if we are too self-centric, and if we are not inclined to hear any suggestions, we'll miss an opportunity for growth. So how much is too much? Sometimes we may not be able to figure out. And even if you are able to figure out how much is too much, what's wrong in taking another opinion from another Vaishnav? Take an opinion. Okay, they will give another perspective, which we must have missed. So individually and collectively, we can come to a proper conclusion that requires unity amongst devotees, trust amongst devotees, friendship amongst devotees. Make sense, Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Any other question? We'll conclude. One more question, yeah.
So especially, this was from yesterday, I was thinking of asking. So yesterday you sang the Gopi Geet in two different ways. You explain every sloka was two meanings, every word.
Not every shloka, some shlokas.
Some slokas, and especially the ninth one was like three meanings.
Kathamritam.
So I was just remembering that also Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he used to sing in 5 different meters, Srimad Bhagavatam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he explained in Atmarama verse in 18 different and then 64 different ways. So can you give us some tips how to develop the taste for Bhagavatam? Because obviously you are explaining many different meanings.
How to develop taste for Bhagavatam. The only way or the most effective way for developing taste for Bhagavatam is associate with those who have taste. Hear from them. Learn from them. Express your heart to them. First, it all begins with desire. Have a desire to develop the taste for Bhagavatam. Then go in the company of devotees who have that taste, and the taste is contagious. It's influential. It will like a virus, it will just affect us. If somebody wants COVID virus, they should embrace a COVID patient. If someone wants taste for Bhagavatam, they should embrace a Bhagavata. Okay. Thank you, Hare Krishna. We'll conclude here. Thank you very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.